Ever wonder what sets the winners apart from the losers? And what does it really mean to be a winner? My name is Federico, and I'm a young, successful entrepreneur passionate about sports, business, mindset, and real estate. If you are just like me and you want to crack the code to victory, then Winning Ways podcast is made for you. Yo, welcome back to Winning Ways with Fred. My name is Federico and I am your host. Guys, special show for you guys today. Inspirational, motivational, and honestly one that's going to get you going. This guy has had the odds stacked against him since he was born, yet he's found a way to succeed, to get his goals, and to be the life of the party. I went to college with him, saw him a couple of times, wasn't really friends with him there, but he was the life of the party. He kept it going no matter what. It was awesome to see. And I'm glad we've connected and become friends now. This leads me to one point that I want to talk about before we start. Today's society, it's all about the victim mentality, the excuse mentality, why we can't do something, why something's happening to us rather than for us. And this interview is going to go to show you why that's not true, why if you believe in something, why if you have the mindset to do something, you'll get it no matter what. And, well, you're going to enjoy it a lot. With that said, I'm going to demand that this time, please share the show. Everybody needs to listen to this guy's story. It's motivational. It's awesome. It's fucking badass. With that said, I'm going to introduce him. Austin, how are you, bro?
I'm good, man. How you doing? That was a very nice welcoming. I appreciate that, man. I'm excited to share my story to everyone, let everyone know that being negative is not worth the energy then you could be positive with.
For sure, man. I'm excited to have you on. And like we spoke about before, I'm hoping this is a thing that's going to continue happening, not just a one-time thing.
This is the first building block.
Love it, bro. Love it. So let's start off, man. Tell the people your story, how you started, and what your main goal is right now. Because I love that last post you made, bro. It's badass. You got me going.
So I'm 27 years old. I live in Boca Raton, Florida. Just moved out of Miami about a couple weeks ago. I was born in Norwalk, Connecticut in 1994 with dwarfism. My parents kind of were like in shock at first because they owned a company that was with animals and stuff. They were going to name me Forrest, which would have been a badass name. But then they found out I was dwarfism. Forrest Gump came out. He had special needs. And they didn't want me to get stuffed in the locker in high school. So they changed it to Austin. So I took that as a grain of salt, being born with dwarfism, nothing I couldn't change. Went through life, kind of got picked on when I was younger, pretty much just like every other kid. And the difference between my childhood and everyone was up until the age of 15, I've gone through 22 surgeries. And I was living in California. It's crazy enough, right when I moved there in 96, this rookie moved right in next door. He played for this team called the Los Angeles Lakers, and little to be known that his name was Kobe Bryant. So it's been a whirlwind of life. I live life very optimistic. That's where I developed my first love of basketball, sports in general. I loved it from the game. My dad took me to Laker games when I was younger. Then we moved to Florida in 2000. Then I went to be converted to a Miami Heat fan, been a Heat fan ever since. Fast forward down the road, I used to work for them. And just throughout life, I've been dealt a shitty hand and always had to overcome things. And at the age of 15, I went in for a normal surgery for my legs that was supposed to be a 4-month recovery that I got done when I was in kindergarten. So I think 4 or 5 was the same time recovery, fully recovered. And unfortunately, when I was 15, my 8th grade / freshman year at high school, I was officially declared paralyzed from the waist down. And to me, I took that as a grain of salt, like I do with every doctor's opinions. Not that they're wrong, but I just think that the power of the mind is bigger than the will of a doctor. That they told me, hey, you'll never stand, you'll never be able to walk, you'll never be able to be independent, you'll never get a job. And I took that all with a grain of salt, and I was like, yo, I respect that you're telling me this, but that's not going to be true. So from that point on, I kind of was like, all right, this is how we're going to go. We're going to just take it day by day. And they sent me to a rehab center right after the surgery to see if I could get any motor functions and everything. And I got to tell you, man, that was probably the hardest month of my life because where I was a kid that was just riding a Segway throughout life, because one thing about dwarfism is every step for you is 4 steps for me. So walking was always a pain in the ass. My friends would run and play soccer. I would get to the other side of the field. They'd run on the other side. I'm like, yo, I'm going to chill here. I'm going to cherry pick. I'm going to hit the goals, but I ain't doing all the running. So my parents found a bunch of adaptive ways, and Segway was the biggest adaptive wave. And I used to ride that thing all around Boca Raton because this was where I grew up. And just one day, just like started diminishing. And they pretty much told me, hey, look, you're never going to be able to do that again. Came home from the hospital, literally was being told you'll never stand, was not able to do my own standing exercises, walking exercises. They're pretty much teaching me how to live in a wheelchair, teach me how to get in and out of cars. And I was in another state. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I'm without my friends. First time in my life, I spent a like major holiday in the hospital by myself when that was Thanksgiving. And I was kind of like, all right, this really sucks. I don't want this to happen again. And came home, was just like, parents, like, you guys suck for not listening to me, because I wanted to get out of there from day one. And they were like, you're just being a rebellion teenager. I was like, nah, check this out. And I stood with my walker, like literally 2 days after getting released from the hospital. And they said I couldn't do it. And I was just like, and my parents were like, all right, like you got something on your head. And so from that moment on, I was just like, you know what, these guys really don't know what the hell they're talking about. Let's see if I can accomplish the next goal. And there's this guy when I was doing physical therapy there that walked up to me in a suit. I'm in the pool in this facility, and it's wintertime up north. And this guy comes up to me, he's like, you're Austin, right? I'm like, yes, sir. And he was just like, I read your case. I'm like, why are you talking to me? You're not even look like you're disabled. And then like he's just like, yeah, I was paralyzed for 10 years. And like after that, like I just want to let you know, like, screw what do these people tell you. And I was just that guy, don't know his name. And if you're listening to this, I apologize. However, he changed my whole outlook, because everyone was telling me I'm paralyzed, I'm done. And then this guy said I was paralyzed for 10 years and I still walk. So I'm like, all right, that's my goal in life. Like, I'll get to where I need to do. I'll be set however I need to set, but my goal in my life is to walk again. And from that day of that surgery was November 10th, 2010 to no, September 29th, 2022, I've walked across my high school graduation without my parents knowing. I walked across my graduation at Florida State with the whole school of fellow peers cheering me on. I moved to Miami. I've worked for the Miami Heat. I own a home now. I work for Barstool Sports. The list could go on, but the number one accomplishment that I could say I've accomplished is overcoming the defeat of a stigma of people thinking that, hey, I'm disabled and I'm in a wheelchair. I could sit in my room for the rest of my life and everyone will feel pity for me. And I said, nah, fuck that. I'm going to just continue enjoying the best of my life. I'm going to go to concerts. I'm going to go to clubs. I'm going to go to restaurants, go to the beach, go on boats, do everything. When people see that I do that, they're like, wow, why do you do that? I'm like, because I'm not a bum. I don't want to do nothing for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in my situation that are like, why do you do this? You could be relaxing. I'm like, bro, I've done that. I did that for like 2 years and I was going stir crazy. And at the end of the day, I just need to be the best version of myself, because honestly, if I'm not happy, what's the point of doing things? And, there's never a point in my life where I'm just like, wow, this sucks, because during that hospital visit, when I was in that rehab center, my trauma wasn't from the act. It was more of a mental trauma of seeing all these perfectly normal kids come in and get their lives completely destroyed. Like, there was a 3-year-old kid that it was around Thanksgiving, I said, so around the holidays. And this kid was crawling around the house and accidentally shot his dad's gun and paralyzed himself from the chest down. And he's like a 3-year-old. And like, there's this another kid next to me that I shared a room with, which kind of made me become the man who I am today, that was literally walking home from an Eagles game and was just a normal 18-year-old kid and got absolutely destroyed by a drunk driver, paralyzed from the neck down, using breathing machine. And like, just to see like the parents' emotions and everything for like 40 nights or however long I was there, was like, yo, my situation that I'm in is so much brighter than it seems on paper, because there's so much darker situations in this world that you just have to look on the outside and positive of everything.
Yeah, man. Chills. You gave me chills all around there, bro. That was beautiful. And you have a beautiful mindset, bro. You have a great mindset.
I appreciate
It's
that,
inspirational,
man.
bro. Honestly, man, you see the bright things in life. You see the gain, not the gap. And it takes a lot to get there. And I want to pick on something of your story right now, which was the guy that told you he was paralyzed for 10 years and then gave you a different outlook. Would you say prior to that, you still had that belief you were going to walk and you were going to push yourself?
Absolutely not.
No.
I believed I did, but I was being fed so much negativity that I was like starting to like believe like, all right, like, I mean, if everyone's telling me this, I guess I'm like, I felt like cocky in a way of saying, or like I was in disbelief. I'm like, no, that didn't happen to me. Didn't happen to me. But this guy literally walked in, like, I'll never forget it, like suit and all, like a badass. And I was just like, you're not disabled. Like, what are you talking to me about? And then he gave me the 10-year thing. And ever since then, I was just like, all right, I'll do 10 years. And I think this year in November will be like 12 years. And from back then to today, it's kind of just like, holy crap, like you came X amount of years and you did it this far. Like, where else can it take you?
Yeah. Yeah, bro. And it goes to show how important it is to share your story. Like he motivated you and changed your outlook. Right now, you sharing your story is probably going to change multiple people's fucking outlook
I
and
hope
change
so,
that
man.
mindset, bro.
It was one of those things that I think I've always been that person inside that something would have kick fired me and made me have that fire under my butt.
Yeah.
But him just telling me that, and I was like probably like 2 weeks away from being home. I was just like, all right, like I could do this.
Yeah. Bro, and like you've done it multiple times, right? Like your recent Instagram post playing tennis, hitting the ball. Your post, just the caption itself, your doctor said you weren't going to be able to do that.
Never.
And now
No one ever thought that I would be able to go to Florida State 7 hours away from down here, driving a car by myself from my wheelchair up to college, living in a dorm by myself would ever be possible. If I said that to any person back in the day, they would have been like, yeah, you're dreaming. Yeah. But with the mentality of you can accomplish anything, hell yeah, there were some obstacles. I went from a nice wheelchair repair shop down here where they could probably get a part in 2 to 3 days to literally driving to like a barn in Tallahassee with like a frame on the side that's like had a would name the thing. It took them like 2 weeks to get a part. So it's like there was definitely some hurdles, but that's what life's all about. Life's about overcoming the hurdles, accomplishing what you have set out. And it doesn't have to be a 2-week goal. It doesn't have to be a 10-year goal. You just have to always work towards the goal, and the goal will resolve itself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not the goal, it's a process, right?
Exactly.
And bro, like I spoke about it in the beginning of the show, man, but multiple times I saw you. I know we didn't know each other, but bro, I went to after parties at Find Out multiple times and you were just there, bro, partying. And it was like, holy shit, man, I'm fucking tired and this guy's still going. Let's fucking go. You know what I mean? But that's, it was fun, man. It was fun to see. It's inspirational too, bro, all around, man. Like I told you, it's awesome.
It was one of those things, man, where I was in college and I literally looked at it and I was just like, I've already made it this far. Let's see how far we can go. Like, that's how I looked at it. I was just like, people didn't think I'd be here. Let's go. And I went through the whole college thing. And if it wasn't for classes and like the teacher's misunderstanding, I would have spent all 4 years there. But my doctors were in Miami, missing exams, not getting a doctor's note to make the exam. FSU was one of the best schools that I've always been a fan of sports. And I was a sports management major. And they were like, hey, like, your professors aren't all on the same page as you. They're like pretty strict to the book. What if we switched your major and you went all online? And I was like, say less. What do I have to do? Communications. And so I was able to move to Miami while still at FSU, still graduate and do everything at FSU. But that was like the biggest pivotal moment, is that I was able to expand my wings down to Miami. I worked for this, I worked at a, how do I say it? Like a spinal cord rehabilitation institute at the University of Miami. And that was like the main reason why I moved down there. And the results that I got there were endless.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. I mean, bro, you take life by the horns. You don't let it stop you, bro. You attack life. You don't let life attack you, and that's how it's supposed to be done, bro.
It's the way the cookie crumbles, man. You can't just sit here waiting for an opportunity. You got to make it yourself.
Exactly, man. And that's why I said in the beginning, bro. Right now, everything's excuses. Everything is negative. And hearing these stories like yours, bro, it's motivational. It's like, man, why am I not doing more? If he's doing this, why am I not doing a lot more, bro? But one thing I wanted to touch on too was you're writing a book.
Yes,
When's that coming out, bro? Share that.
I'm hoping for early 23. I'm hoping to make it a really good 150 pages. So I was typing, my dad's a writer. Everyone's been telling me to write a book. And I wrote a book kind of for like a college assignment that was like 35 pages. I was like, name something that's changed your life. And I'm like, I got this paper. And one night in my dorm, I was literally writing and I just wrote 35 pages and sat on that for like 6 years. I didn't think like I would ever write something. Someone's like, have you ever thought about writing a book? I'm like, yeah, like I've wrote a book. And they're like, what, how many pages? I'm like 30. They're like, you got to write. So I started writing. And someone said like, hey, look, this is what you got to do. You write a really good book. You got to like make it a really good book, but you need people to know your name. So my goal is at the beginning of the year, have like 150 page free copy page back to give you a little brief of like the whole story. And then by mid 23, late 23, have a full blown story with details and everything.
That's awesome, bro. And it's going to blow up because your story's great. And it's, yeah, man, like I have no doubt about that, bro. Let me ask you this, bro. So again, your mindset is admirable. It's great. And most people work to achieve that type of mindset. Obviously your situation pushed you to have that mindset. Is there books or something that have helped you, or people, mentors, parents, loved ones that have cultivated this mindset for you?
I would say yes, definitely, without a doubt. The number one person that I could say is my parents, my faith with God. Definitely outside of those two main realms, there's definitely like people like I went to Complex Con in 2017, met Gary Vee, had a nice long chat with him, and have had a relationship with him up until end of COVID. And then we kind of just like, I kind of was like, yeah, no, I've got it from here. Thank you, boss. And took the reins. And I just go on YouTube. I do something on my Instagram called Motivational Mondays. I just love like any quote, any things that just kind of just like make you read it and you just feel fired up. You're just like, all right, like I could go do this. I could go do that. So definitely Eric Thomas, the guy, if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. That was one of the lines that I was like, all right, I'm still breathing. I want to keep breathing. Let's keep it going. Yeah. So I've used that guy, and mostly just movies, music, just stuff that just keeps you going, stuff like that.
Yeah. Bro, that's badass. You had a relationship with like you knew Gary Vee, and he was like kind of in a way mentoring you in a way, or
in a way that I've talked to him in person 2 times. I had the courage to go up to him at Complex Con, and he was doing a panel, and I literally had no idea I wanted to do it. Like I knew I always like people all like I literally had no idea what I was gonna say. I just like people were asking questions. I was like, all right, like I want this guy to know who I am. And I was just like, what is a kid who's like 17 years old, or not 17, what was that? 2017, like 22 years old trying to do in this world. Like I've had all this cards stacked against me, but I don't give a shit. And he literally was like, bro, I'll get you a video camera, start videotaping your stuff. I'll do you all this stuff and let me know. And so I literally talked to him 5 minutes after. He sent me like a couple of these guys in his circle's number. And he's like, send me your stuff, keep it going and keep reporting and never give up. I was like, all right. I kept doing that, made a couple of vlogs. And then I was just like, yeah, no, this life ain't for me. I'm not like one to like, hey guys, I'm Austin here. And like, it's fun, but like, I felt like I was like trying to make days out of stuff that like I don't normally do. So I was like, there was only so much swimming in the pool, workout, physical therapy videos that I could have been doing. So I was just like, look, this isn't for me. And he was the one when I met him back in last year in 2021 in January, he was like, yo, a book is everything. A book can help you.
Gary told you this?
Gary. And then he told me this at a Budweiser Super Bowl event down in Miami. And then the person that inspired me the most is this guy named Dan Fleshman, who I went to one of these events, and I did a podcast with him, and he opened my eyes about everything. And he gave me this book of how to be successful under $1,000. I was at an event, he passed it out to everyone, and that's where I got my little book idea. He was the one that said, like, give things out for free. When you want something to launch, don't make people buy it. Your friends will buy it, but if you want your normal people to buy it, just pass it out. Draw the audience in, then smack them in the face with a book. That's what he said. And I was just like, what do you mean by that? He's like, no one knows who you are besides your good story. If you give them like a synopsis of your story, they want more detail. Then you can write a full book. I was just like, okay, I kind of see where you're going with this. And so he never said that directly. And I kind of was like picking people's brains. And I was just like, I like this idea, because when I wrote my first book, it was like 400 pages, something like that, of just blabber. And my dad said, because he was the only one that read it, I was like, what do you think about this? He's like, good. But like, I wrote it in context of just like sentences of other people talking. He's like, this isn't you. I'm like, no, but I wrote it like how a book should be read. He's like, yeah, but it's not you. It's like all like just not Austin authentic. And I was like, all right, I see what you mean by that. Like, we can get this thing done and do it in a nicely manner and of everything.
Dude, that's badass.
My biggest thing that I've learned from this is network is bigger than net worth.
Big time, bro. Big time. Man, I mean, it goes to show you. I mean, you're in it. Dan Fleshman, Gary Vee, Eric Thomas, you're listening to the people. I mean, the people I listen to, bro. And it's the people you're supposed to listen to, surround yourself with. Did an episode a couple weeks back basically saying like that you got to follow the right people on social media. And that's what I mean by that, bro. Because following these people, just listening, looking at, you're scrolling to Instagram, you look at the real, dude, I that's one of the one you just said, when you want to breathe as much as you want to succeed. Bro, I probably listen to it multiple times a week at the gym when I'm visualizing, because it's true, man. And the passion he says it with too gets you going.
Yeah, no, he's up there with like, I heard that when I was in the hospital. I was like, oh damn, this guy's like pretty good. Now he's like doing speaking engagements everywhere. I'm like, all right, man. Like, I'm not just a crazy man that heard that one day and was like, oh, that's a good quote.
Do you see yourself doing that one day? Kind of like an Eric Thomas, Gary Vee type in front of the stage?
I would like to do that. I would definitely like to do that, because for me, it's super easy to talk about my story. People are always like afraid to ask me. And like when I was in college, the number one thing was people didn't know I was paralyzed at FSU. I mean, didn't know I was walking prior to FSU. People were like, only the kids that grew up with me in South Florida, or like saw on Instagram like older pictures and stuff, they were like, you used to walk? I'm like, yeah, but like let's talk about this. And then like I would tell them, they're like, and you're still out doing this stuff? I'm like, yeah, like I'm not gonna just sit around doing nothing all day. And they're like, it would be great for you to talk. And I've done some speaking engagements when I was in high school. I spoke on the behalf of Palm Beach County at like a massive school convention for disabled people, and I did it at FIU last year. It's stuff that I like pick up to do, and if I ever get the opportunity, I say yes, no matter what the circumstances are. And it's something that I just look at as an opportunity for more people to get some insight of why my life is the way it is and why the way I am is the way I am. Because on paper, people could easily be like, all right, like this kid's been through the worst. He should just kind of just try to get like a desk job and chill. And I'm like, nah, like I want to go sit skiing. I'm trying to go like bungee jumping. I'm trying to just like make life to the fullest and, see what happens in this world.
Bro, that's what winners do, man. We're not confined by the lines that are drawn upon us, man. We want to do more. We're trying to push beyond our boundaries, man. Like, and it's awesome that you have that mentality, man, because it's going to get you really far, man. I know that for a fact. Now, last question, bro. Where do you like, so what's your plan right now for the next 5 to 10 years?
My next 5 to 10 years is I just moved here from Miami to Boca Raton, and I'm going to launch my book next year. And then my goal is to start doing podcasts, potentially launch a podcast of some sort. And that's why I was really liking the idea of doing these things. And I was like looking around and I was like, I love my job that I currently do. I work for Barstool Sports, and I loved working for the Heat, but I always have the same drive of my story is great. I would like for people to know what is out there and the potential that everyone has inside themselves if they're in the same spot I was 12 years ago, where I was like, this sucks. But then I was like, all right, but I can do this. So I would love to do it. I would love to be someone on stage speaking to people, telling people that, hey, you could do anything and stuff like that. And also being a consultation for like some sports teams. There's so many things that like you could do, because when I was in high school, I was a manager of the lacrosse team, and it was all my friends playing, and I just motivated them every game. And it's something that I think I have a gift for, of being able to speak to people, talk to people. So within the next 5 to 10 years, I would love to have a fully published book, a speaking tour, apartment in Miami, LA, London, and let's just say Greece, because that'd be hella fun. And, anything's possible in this world, because there's if someone were to tell me in 12 years you'd be working for your dream company, working for one of your favorite sports teams, and then living in a house by yourself, I would have looked at you like you're crazy, with 2 legs over my legs, dying in a hospital. I was like, not having it. But you fast forward 12 years and I'm here. So I'm from that jump point, I'm excited to see where the next 12 years take me.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome, man. There's no doubt you'll get there. In 5, probably less than that, 5 years, you'll be headlining with Gary Vee and Dan. On a show, I could already see it, 10X with Grant Cardone. Bro, it's true, man. And you have a great personality. You know how to share your story well in a funny manner where it kind of relates with people, not a sobby, sad story. You laugh about it. You say you take it with a grain of salt. It's great, bro. I'm telling you, once people start seeing your story, listening to it, and reading your book, man, there's no doubt you're going to get there, without a doubt.
Dude, I seriously appreciate that. I hear it all the time, but it's from people that are like you and people like Gary and all that. When you just hear them, you're just like, maybe I am doing something right.
Dude, no, you are. Trust me, bro. And like that's why I'm so big on people sharing this podcast, bro. Because people need to listen to this story. They need to hear about you, man. Like I'm telling you, it's great. When Talia showed me your profile, I knew about you, bro. But then I was like, holy shit, this is the definition of winning. This is what winning's all about. Like you have a belief in something, you don't let anything stop you, no matter what. Even when they tell you you're not going to be able to do something, you're still pushing towards getting that goal. That's awesome, bro. This interview is going to impact a bunch of people, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Where can my audience find you on social media?
They can find me on Instagram, it's my name, Austin X Reynolds. YouTube, I think it's the same. And then Twitter's _ Austin X Reynolds.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. Yeah, guys, this will be on the notes too. Shoot him a follow, connect with him. A lot to learn from him, especially that mindset, man. It's beautiful. And hopefully this will be enough. I think that we'll do more often, bro. Hopefully a couple of weeks we share our stories, our wins, and motivate people, man.
I love that, man. It would be one of those things that I'd be honored to do.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. Well, then with that said, I'll see you next show, brother.
Let's do it, man.
Awesome. Ever wonder what sets the winners apart from the losers? And what does it really mean to be a winner? My name is Federico, and I'm a young, successful entrepreneur passionate about sports, business, mindset, and real estate. If you are just like me and you want to crack the code to victory, then Winning Ways podcast is made for you.